Before your next sip of something sweet, give me 30 seconds. What would actually happen if you stopped eating added sugar for 14 days? Here's the short answer. Your cravings switch off, your energy evens out, water weight drops, skin clears, sleep deepens, and your liver finally gets to breathe. In this video, I'll walk you day by day through what to expect on days 1, 3, 4, 7, and 8, 14, why the day 3 wall happens, and the simple fixes that make it easy. Stay to the end and I'll give you a 3-step plan and a printable 14-day checklist so you can start tonight. No guesswork, no gimmicks. Let's begin. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications for the latest updates. Joint stiffness and inflammation, less swelling. Easier mornings, how sugar agitates joints. High added sugar intake raises insulin and inflammatory mediators, promotes advanced glycation end products, ages in collagen, and increases water retention in tissues, all of which can amplify stiffness and soreness, especially on waking. What improves in 14 days? Morning stiffness eases as tissue water and systemic inflammation drop. Perceived pain often decreases. Stairs feel less punishing. Hands and knees feel less tight if you're prone to gout. Pulling high fructose sources, sodas, syrups, can reduce uric acid pressure on joints. Weight management. Even small losses reduce joint load. Knees, hips, ankles. Bottom line, lower sugar means less inflammatory noise in connective tissues. Joints feel freer, lighter, and calmer within 2 weeks. Uric acid and kidney load. Fructose offload. Better filtration. Fructose and uric acid 101. Fructose, especially from sugary drinks and syrups, is metabolized in the liver in a way that raises uric acid. Higher uric acid can stress kidneys, worsen blood pressure, and in susceptible people precipitate gout. What 14 sugar-free days can bring? Lower fructose load, less uric acid production. Kidneys face less filtration stress, which can support steadier blood pressure and fewer nighttime bathroom trips due to sugary beverages. Gout-prone individuals may notice fewer twinges in big toe, ankle, knee. Bottom line, ditching added sugar, especially liquid fructose, reduces uric acid pressure and lets kidneys work with less strain. Added sugar intake keeps insulin elevated and locks you into frequent feeding. With 2 sugar-free weeks, insulin drifts down, and your body switches cleanly between glucose and fat. That's metabolic flexibility, benefits you'll feel. Easier overnight fasts, 12-14 hours. Without waking ravenous, natural meal spacing. You can go 4 to 6 hours between meals comfortably. Cleaner focus during long work blocks. Fewer emergency snacks, bottom line. Lower sugar restores your body's native ability to toggle fuels, giving you calm hunger, stable output, and simpler days. Oral health, fewer acid attacks. Happier gums, sugar's dental problem in one line. Oral bacteria ferment sugars into acid, which drops mouth pH and demineralizes enamel. Frequent sweet snacks or sips mean repeated acid baths, more cavities. And inflamed gums, what improves in 14 days without added sugar. Fewer acid attacks per day. Enamel gets more remineralization time from saliva. Plaque quality changes, less sticky, easier to remove. Gingival inflammation calms. Gums look less swollen and bleed less with flossing. Halitosis often improves as sugary residues vanish. Bottom line, removing added sugar reduces the frequency and severity of acid exposure, giving enamel and gums a genuine chance to heal and strengthen. Athletic adaptation, from sugar burner to fat burner. Why many active adults feel steadier off sugar. When sugar intake is high, your engine is tuned for rapid glucose burn. You go hard, then fade, then reach for gels or sports drinks. 2 sugar-free weeks begin retuning toward greater fat oxidation, so you can cruise longer on stored fuel with fewer crashes. What to expect? Week 1, slight dip during high-intensity bursts as enzymes shift. Keep electrolytes up and don't cut total calories. Week 2, easier Zone 2 efforts, stable pace without emergency snacks. Post-workout hunger less frantic. Bottom line. You'll likely trade burst and bonk for steadier endurance, fewer cravings mid-session, and cleaner recovery. Gut microbiome shift. Less dysbiosis. More fiber-friendly bugs. Why sugar unsettles the gut ecosystem. A modern sugar-heavy pattern often comes packaged with ultra-processed foods and low fiber. That combination feeds dysbiotic microbes, the ones that thrive on simple sugars, and starves beneficial fiber-fermenting species. The result can be bloating, gas, erratic bowels, cravings, and a more inflamed gut lining. What 14 sugar-free days can do, with added sugars out and whole food fibers in, beneficial microbes produce more short-chain. Fatty acids, SCFAs like butyrate, fuel for colon, cells that reduces inflammation and strengthens the gut barrier. Gas and bloating often decrease as you pull back on the simple sugar buffet for gas-producing microbes. The gut-brain axis quiets down. Fewer urgent cravings and more stable appetite signals as microbial byproducts normalize how it feels and looks in real life. Week 1, less balloon feeling after meals. Bowel movements start to regularize with consistent fiber and hydration. Week 2, better tolerance to mixed meals, less post-meal distension, and a calmer lower abdomen by bedtime. Bottom line, ditching added sugar and embracing whole food fiber nudges your microbiome toward butyrate-producing, anti-inflammatory species, less bloat, better regularity, and steadier cravings. Craving and appetite reset. The dopamine and insulin switch. Why cravings dominate with sugar. Added sugars are uniquely hyperpalatable. They light up the brain's reward circuit, especially dopamine, and swing blood glucose up fast. Your pancreas answers with insulin to pull that glucose out of your blood. What changes when you quit for 14 days? Within 72 hours. 2 things begin. 1, insulin surges settle, and 2, your brain's sweetness set point starts to recalibrate. Without the repeated spikes, your body stops bouncing between wired and starving. You'll notice fewer intrusive food thoughts, fewer "I need something sweet after meals," and a natural drop in snacking. By day 7 to 10, many people report walking past desserts without the usual pull. By day 14, the urge is often replaced by preference for real food. Protein, fiber, and whole food fats feel satisfying instead of boring. Dopamine context. You're not losing pleasure. You're normalizing sensitivity. Constant sugar keeps dopamine signaling noisy and desensitized. Removing it allows receptors to regain responsiveness. So everyday foods and non-food rewards like a workout or a good conversation feel rewarding again, without the crash. How it feels day by day. Days 1 to 3. Cravings may increase. Withdrawal. Hydrate, prioritize protein, and don't undereat. Days 4 to 7. Cravings drop sharply as energy stabilizes. Days 8-14. Sweetness threshold resets. Fruit tastes sweeter. Pastries feel too much, bottom line. 2 weeks without added sugar dismantles the crave spike crash loop, restores reward sensitivity, and hands control back to you instead of your sweet tooth. Steadier energy, goodbye, sugar highs and afternoon crashes. Why sugar makes you sleepy later. High sugar meals flood the bloodstream, insulin spikes, glucose plunges, and the brain, starved briefly, feels foggy. Add a big lunch and a workday slump, and you've built a perfect afternoon crash. The brain loves steady fuel, not turbulence. What improves in 14 days? Removing added sugar reduces glycemic variability, the amplitude of your rises and falls. Lower variability is linked with more stable cognition, fewer headaches, less post-meal sleepiness, and better productivity. Metabolic flexibility. With sugar out, your body begins to tap fat more readily between meals. Even modest ketone production, not necessarily full ketosis, provides a stable backup fuel for the brain. How it feels day by day. Days 1 to 3. You may feel flat as you come off the roller coaster. Hydrate, add electrolytes, and eat regular meals. Days 4 to 7. The post-lunch dip shrinks. Focus returns faster after meals. Days 8 to 14. Mornings feel clean. You can work longer without reaching for snacks. Bottom line. Flatten the glucose roller coaster and you flatten the energy roller coaster. Clearer mornings, smoother afternoons and evenings without the desperate sweet hunt. Water weight and bloating drop, glycogen and kidney reset. Why you drop weight quickly? Two mechanisms move in your favor fast. Glycogen holds water. Every gram of stored glycogen in liver, botch, muscle binds about 3 to 4 grams of water. When you eat a lot of sugar, soft refined carbs, you keep glycogen topped up and water comes along for the ride. Reducing sugar lowers glycogen and the stored water leaves, flattening bloat in your face, fingers, and midsection. Insulin retains sodium. High insulin tells kidneys to hold sodium and water. When insulin falls, no added sugar, your kidneys naturally release sodium, natriuresis, and water follows. The visible result, your rings fit better, socks leave fewer marks, and morning puffiness fades. What to expect in 14 days. Week 1. Noticeable depuffing. The scale often drops a few pounds primarily from water. Clothes loosen, especially at the waist. Week 2. Water loss slows and fat loss contributes more. As you're eating fewer empty calories and snacking less, electrolytes matter. That extra urination can take sodium, potassium, and magnesium with it. If you don't replace them from real food and a bit of added salt when appropriate, you may feel lightheaded, crampy, or headachy. Classic low electrolyte symptoms. Bottom line, early weight loss equals less water retention and less bloat. It's a healthy depuff, not just dehydration. After the initial flush, body fat reduction becomes a larger share of the change. Skin and collagen, less glycation, fewer breakouts, healthier glow. The glycation story. High sugar accelerates glycation. Sugars bind to proteins like collagen and elastin, forming advanced glycation end products, AGEs. AGEs stiffen and weaken the skin's scaffolding, contributing to dullness, fine lines, and slower healing. Removing added sugar reduces the substrate for glycation, and over weeks to months, the balance tilts toward repair rather than damage. Acne and oil control. Elevated insulin from sugary meals increases IGF-1 signaling, which can stimulate sebum production and keratinocyte proliferation. 2 steps in acne formation. Frequent sugar also amplifies inflammation, making breakouts redder and more persistent. With sugar out, insulin calms, inflammation drops, and many people see fewer whiteheads, sabash, blackheads, and less oiliness, especially along the T-zone and jawline. What you can see in 14 days. Week 1. Reduced puffiness, less facial bloating, and a slight brightening of skin tone as fluid and inflammatory load fall. Week 2, what some people notice fewer new breakouts and calmer existing lesions. Makeup sits better because oil swings are smaller. Bottom line. Less sugar means fewer glycation hits to collagen and calmer oil inflammation dynamics. Skin looks clearer, less puffy and more resilient within 2 weeks, with deeper structural benefits accruing over months. Mood, focus, and sleep. Calmer neurochemistry. Better rest. Why sugar scrambles mood and focus. Blood sugar turbulence stresses the brain. Spikes feel stimulating for a short time. The subsequent crash can bring irritability, anxiety, and brain fog. Repeated swings elevate cortisol and disturb GABA-serotonin balance, both central to calm and sleep. Late-night sweets or sweet drinks can fragment sleep through nocturnal awakenings and more bathroom trips. What improves in 14 days? Mood steadies. Fewer irritability spikes, less emotional reactivity, a quieter inner noise. Attention sharpens. With lower glycemic variability, the prefrontal cortex, focus yet executive function, operates more consistently. Many report feeling clear all afternoon without needing snacks to push through. Sleep quality rises. Falling asleep becomes easier. Fewer 2-3 a.m. wake-ups, deeper slow-wave sleep as evening glucose and insulin normalize, neurofuel nuance. The brain always needs some glucose, but with sugar out and whole food meals in, supply becomes steady. Mild ketone availability during longer gaps between meals can provide efficient, low-inflammation fuel, which some experience as clean focus. Bottom line. In 2 sugar-free weeks, you typically get smoother emotions, better focus, and more restorative sleep, not from willpower, but from calmer physiology. Insulin sensitivity, better fasting, glucose and lower variability, why sugar keeps insulin high. Every time you eat added sugar and most refined carbs, your blood glucose spikes fast. Your pancreas releases insulin to shuttle that glucose into cells. Repeat this cycle often enough and cells become less responsive, insulin resistance, forcing the body to make even more insulin to get the same job done. High insulin promotes fat storage, water retention, and energy crashes. What changes over 14 days without added sugar? Your body needs less insulin after meals. Lower average insulin allows cell receptors to regain sensitivity, so glucose enters more efficiently. Glycemic variability, the up and down swings, flattens, which your brain experiences as steady focus. Instead of wired then wiped, morning, fasting, glucose often drifts downward as the liver stops pumping out extra glucose in response to last night's sugar surge. How it feels day by day, days 1-3, you may feel withdrawal, stronger, cravings or flat energy as the roller coaster slows. Days 4-7. Post-meal sleepiness fades. You can go longer between meals without anxiety or shakes, days 8-14. Hunger signals feel calmer and more accurate. It's easier to stop eating when satisfied. Bottom line, 2 sugar-free weeks lower insulin demand, calm hunger, and restore metabolic control. You feel full on real meals instead of chasing snacks. Liver health, less fatty liver load, better lipid handling. Why the liver matters in a sugar story. The liver is your metabolic traffic controller. High intakes of added sugar, especially fructose from sweetened drinks and desserts, drive de novo lipogenesis, DNL, converting sugar into fat inside the liver. Over time, fat accumulates, non-alcoholic fatty liver, triglycerides rise and the liver becomes less effective at regulating glucose and lipids. What improves in 14 sugar-free days? DNL slows down when fructose and refined sugar drop, so the liver stops manufacturing as much fat, the body begins mobilizing stored hepatic fat for fuel, easing congestion. VLDL, triglyceride output, can trend downward. Some people notice improved fasting lipids over weeks to months. The liver's steady, measured release of glucose between meals stabilizes, helping fasting and pre-breakfast readings. How it feels? Less midsection puffiness. Belts fit better as hepatic water fat load eases. Fewer after-meal slumps, because the liver isn't firefighting spikes all day. Some report improved skin clarity and hormonal steadiness as hepatic processing of hormones and toxins becomes more efficient. Bottom line, 2 sugar-free weeks begin a liver unclogging process, less internal fat production, smoother lipid handling, and more reliable glucose control. Blood pressure and vascular calm, lower sodium retention, less puffiness. Why sugar affects blood pressure? Sugar doesn't just push glucose. It pushes insulin, and insulin tells kidneys to retain sodium and water. That increases blood volume and can nudge blood pressure upward. Sugar spikes also activate the sympathetic nervous system and impair endothelial function, the lining that controls vessel relaxation, making vessels less responsive. What changes after 14 days without added sugar? With lower insulin, kidneys excrete more sodium, natriuresis. Water follows, reducing extracellular volume and puffiness in the face, hands, and ankles. Endothelial tone improves as post-meal oxidative stress and inflammation fall, helping vessels relax more easily. Many people notice lighter mornings, fewer sock marks, and calmer heart pounding after meals. How it feels day by day. Week 1. More frequent urination. Depuffing around the eyes and fingers. Week 2. Steadier pulse pressure and fewer rushing sensations with stairs or mild exertion. Bottom line, cutting added sugar lets the kidneys and blood vessels breathe, less retained fluid, smoother vessel relaxation, and a quieter cardiovascular day.
Thanks for watching my video and don't forget to subscribe my channel for more information videos.